Why your camera look blurry, Eric?
I don't know. Is it dirty?
There you go. Look at him.
What you say,
I'd have been up here for 20 minutes. I'd have been up here for 20 minutes. You ain't said nothing.
Hey, I just want to look good, bro. All right. So we ready. We're going to pray first. We're going to have Dr. Goodman. Could you pray for us?
With it by your head. Lord, thank you for allowing us to wake up this morning, giving us the ability to see another day, Lord. We thank you so much for having the brothers on this call, for our locked in call, Lord. We ask that you allow our words and discussion topics to be used to minister and for your continual kingdom building, Lord. We ask you to continue to bless this production. We ask you to continue to bless the crew. We ask you to continue to bless the upcoming wardrobe malfunctions in the wardrobe, but we're going to have as well, Lord. And we just love you and appreciate you. We ask you to continue to bless us and bless those in our circles. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Who had a malfunction?
I didn't mean malfunction. That's why I said you got to keep going with the prayer, brother. You can't stop.
Well, you can't keep making up stuff in the prayer either.
Yeah, but it's going to be wardrobe malfunctions. We're going to have a budget because I'm not going to continue to.
So my clothes is going to fall off or something? Is a wardrobe malfunction?
It could be. I could have a like a split in my shirt. From the future budget that you're going to give us for wardrobe because I'm not.
I'm kind of worried about this daggone budget.
I'm not going to continue to work for free.
Wow. Anyway, let's get this show started. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Locked In. This is show number 4, episode 4, season 1 of a good show. Can I tell you it's a good show? Do y'all know this is a good show?
Absolutely, bro.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad to be joined by my brothers, of course. We have Eric, who is always ready. Look at him. And
always.
My boy Damien. We had a little malfunction earlier with trying to figure out his phone, but we got it straight now.
Yeah, we figured out what is that, Eric? What's that?
Auto rotate. Yeah.
It's auto rotate. I had no idea what that was. So Eric put me up on game today. He had teenagers though, so he.
Yeah. Now turn it sideways.
It's cold
You take your auto rotate off.
Let me see. What's the auto rotator at?
You got an iPhone or Android?
I got an iPhone. I ain't never heard nothing about no auto rotate.
What is that thing? That one.
Oh snap! Let me see.
If you slide your finger down.
Let me see that real quick. That little function. What does that say right there?
Right there.
Oh snap!
Oh snap, bro!
Oh, okay.
There we go.
You got it now. I think you got it.
Yeah, we in the business.
Turn it.
It's normal now.
Turn it now. There you go. Look at that. God is good.
God is good.
There we go. I didn't even know what that was. I had no idea what that was.
Yeah.
Probably would have known what that was.
Oh, wait a minute, bro.
Right now.
Wait a minute, bro.
I've been iPhone for years now. I've never known about that. I don't know what iPhone that they started doing it on, but I just found out what that was.
All of them.
All of them. Okay. All right.
Auto rotate is even on the Android.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So I've been educated.
We're good to go. We're gonna have each other's back. That's what we do.
Bro, you got a son.
Yes.
Hey, he don't know about that. I'm gonna ask him what that is.
I bet you he knows. My kid,
if he take pictures, he knows. If he take pictures, yeah.
Wow.
It's never been an issue to the day, because my bro James got to have everything.
Now you just be walking through the house. You just will be walking through the house now saying, "I'm just putting this on auto rotate." I just want y'all to know this.
Right.
All of them out there.
All y'all be quiet. The point blank is, I'm glad to have my fellas here. One person is missing. Who is that? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q.
Come on now. That's okay. We're going to represent for him today. We're going to hold it down.
We represent for Q today.
Yeah, we're going to hold the fort down today.
Couldn't make it. So it's going to be us three. We're going to get the show started right now. And we're going to start, this time we're going to start with our mental health. I want to first say, I don't know if you guys know of the Christian singer named Mandisa. Are you familiar with her?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so I'm an American Idol fan. I was a American Idol fan when it
Sure.
first started years ago. And
Mhm.
she was one of the people in American Idol. She didn't win, but she was like in the top 10, top 5 or whatever.
Sure.
And she got a pretty good career after leaving American Idol, had albums and different things like that. And one thing about her, okay, of course, I don't know if you guys heard the news, but she passed away a few weeks ago in April. They found her in her home dead. Now, nobody knows exactly. They haven't released how she died. But I will say that she did suffer, and I'm not saying this is what it is, but she did suffer from depression. She suffered from mental illness, different things like that. And she was very vocal about it. She actually had a book here. It was called Out of the Dark, My Journey Through the Shadows to Find God's Glory. Such a good book. I read some pages of it. It's really crazy to me because I remember when I heard the news a few weeks ago, I was sitting in the news booth. I had just finished doing my newscast, and the audio guy, he knocked on the window and he put the phone up there and he said, "Look at this." And I was reading, I was like, Mandisa. I was like, and it said that she had passed away. And I'm like, is that it didn't register, but she actually died. And then when I got back to my seat, it's crazy because I had just picked up her book and I had it at my desk. So that book was on my desk. And it was just the most craziest thing because she was 47 years old. And to die at such a young age, it's just crazy.
When I was in American Idol, and I don't remember her. And then I did do some research and saw that she had a gospel album, right?
Yeah. She was a gospel singer, and she had a beautiful voice, a wonderful voice. And it just made me think about, since we're doing this mental health section, about mental health and the importance of it. Now, we're not saying that's what happened, but we know that she was vocal about it and why it's so important. I want to read something from the excerpt or about the book for you guys. And it says here, in the darkness, Mandisa knew God was there, but she wondered if she could trust him, even at her lowest point, where she saw no human way forward. God was at work, powerfully redeeming her story and calling her out of the dark. Mandisa tells her story with warmth and vulnerability, challenging all of us to focus on God's purpose for our lives, surround ourselves with friends who will fight for us, and face life's challenges with courage and faith. If you ever found yourself in a dark place as the result of grief, depression, or loss, Mandisa's story will reassure you that even when you're walking through dark valleys, God can and will lead you on the path to joy and
wow.
So when you hear that, like, there's so many people out there that are dealing with grief and depression, different things like that. And to know that even through the midst of her problems, I know one thing she pointed out is that having good friends, having people that she can reach out to is very important. Yeah. And so I'm glad to have my circle of brothers here. Y'all are not just people that I found. Y'all are actually my real authentic friends that I can turn to at any time if I'm going through something. Just talking to Eric, I'm going through something now, but I'm getting through. How you guys doing?
Just to check in with me, doing well. Since I know I missed the last episode, I think Damien and I both missed the last episode.
Yeah, we missed it. Yeah, Q held it down for us last time, so we held it down.
And my brother Ira came in and filled in for us. He did a good job. And I will
appreciate them holding it down. We're not going to talk about the abuse. We're going to move on from that because I know that's what he's about to start talking about. But it's just talking about.
I was going to say.
I'll talk to Damien offline about that because I've had a conversation with Tony and I don't think it was appropriate for cameras. So I'm going to make sure I keep it. Maybe some of the bloopers. We can put it in the bloopers or the blooper reel.
Okay, well, continue.
Okay. Because I don't know if he has the bleep button ready for me. So I want to make sure. I'm not sure if that's in the budget. So I want to make sure we
what
keep
you need a bleep button for?
I was a little hot about what you commented on, but I'm going to make sure. I'll save that. I'll save that for someone else.
But it's all love. We always mess with each other.
That's the mental health check-in.
Oh man, he's so shade at the budget. Yeah, we don't know if we got a bleep button in the budget.
Remember, I gotta pay the people that come on the subs. I gotta pay them too.
You better use a little iPhone notification noise or something like that if you can't afford it in the budget. Come on now.
Excuse me?
You better improvise or something.
What you talking about?
What's going on? We ain't got no bleep button in the budget.
A beep button?
A bleep button.
I got a bleep button.
You never know.
Okay. I ain't never heard it before, so
I don't really play it. I gotta find it.
But so just checking in from last time. One of the things I talked about on the first episode was just making sure that I am consistently working out and also getting a good night's sleep. That has been helpful for me probably the last month, and it's been consistent. And I just feel amazing. I think that's a lot to do with my mental health check-in, because life is tough. You know, you're going to have the things at work. You're going to have things that come up if you have children. You're going to have just life circumstances that just take over sometimes. And I think you put yourself in a position, prepare and put yourself in a position, you handle them better. And so that's what I've been doing, and it's been consistent. It's been great. I've been journaling, which is a beautiful thing. I've been talking to Tony a little bit about journaling, because I've gotten myself back into that, just put my thoughts down. And I think that helps me keep my mental health really much in check. And like you said, surrounding yourself with good people. Like my circle, I have really amazing people in my circle. It's super small. And these are accountability partners. And I call them accountability warriors. They're prayer warriors. If I need prayer, and just people that I can talk to with no judgment, almost like the what is it? The Planet Fitness, like no judgment zone. Like there's no judgment zone with this.
Yeah.
And so
part of that circle. You
are part of that circle, yes. And so this is the people you can talk to. And I think that helps, because life is heavy, life is unpredictable, and there are many different things and many different people that don't want you to be well, don't want you to be successful. And so sometimes it's unexpected, sometimes it's expected, but just having great people in your life, that good eating, having good diet, having good sleep, and a good workout regimen, I think that's been extremely helpful for me in my mental health journey. So good for that.
My boy, how you been? Damien.
Yeah, man. Business is business, man. The trucking industry, man, is a stressful business. So it's ups and downs, always ups and downs. But I like how Eric touched on the your physical health has an impact, right? And so it'll help you just recover from difficult situations, and that sleep aspect, to be honest with you, ever since I've been out of the Navy, I have struggled with the sleep. So it has really been, challenging for me to be consistent with the sleep, but I do notice the difference when I do have a full night's rest. So I just been trying to focus on and trying to get better at that. I'm not the best at it, but yeah, I'm trying my best to get better at that. But as far as like the gym, I love to be there. And so it is something that does help me to bounce back, just mentally. It has a mental impact, a positive mental impact. Love doing that. And yeah, man, I have those friends too. Like it's important to have friends to be able to talk to when you're going through things, things in the home, things at work, anywhere, you got to have a support system, and you got to have people to talk to. So I thank God that I do have those things in my life. I started doing the journaling as well too. So yeah, I have a routine to help me bounce back, even through the struggles with the business. Most of my struggles has to do with the business, but it is what it is, So yeah.
Okay, well, that's very interesting. Y'all, you two said two things that I need to be doing that I'm not doing with my mental health. And you know what? I get tired of coming up here every month saying I'm going through something. I am going through a wilderness period, for sure. I got some things going on, but I'll tell you one thing. I'm encouraged, and I keep moving. I keep striving no matter what. And it be tough sometimes. But two things that you guys pointed out that I think that I need to do, and that is journal for one, but also get more sleep. And I know Eric has said this to me. He said, you need to journal your thoughts. And one thing that I struggle with is journaling. Like I'm a writer. I like to write and different things like that. But when it comes to sitting down and writing things on paper about my thoughts and how I'm feeling, whether good or bad, I find it hard. And I don't know why I find it hard, but I see where it's necessary, because it seemed like it's helped you guys when you journal. And then also sleep. Most times I don't sleep because I'm thinking about something or something's going on. Or I'm tossing and turning. And then I'm at work like 4:35, 6 o'clock in the morning. And then I lose all my sleep. I go through my day and I may fall asleep on the couch when I get home watching TV or something, but I don't get adequate sleep. And your sleep does affect your mental health as well. So I just learned something from you guys. You guys are doing what you got to do. I know exercise is a big important part of y'all's regimen as well. Both of you are consistent in the gym. and I have fallen off on that as well. So I just say that I'm okay. I'm going through some things, but I'm okay because I'm encouraged to my brothers, because it's so important that we have a good support system. And
Amen.
that's that on that.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
So,
hey, you know what I find? Sorry
mhm.
to cut you off. You know what
You're
I
fine.
find, man, with the you know, I've been telling you, like, I've been trying to focus on like the content creation and stuff like that. And I've been focusing on like telling, like storytelling, right? Like trying to find different lessons that I can find through my personal story. And I feel like this has been a form of journaling for me because it's like, as I reflect, I really can remember times that God has really gotten me through some things. So it's been very encouraging. So it's like, yeah, you recall those things. You know, we all have our personal walk with God, right? And it's like, if you recall those things, you're gonna be able to remember that God got you through some things,
Sure.
right? And you might be going through some things today, but God has been faithful, right? So you're gonna find yourself being encouraged. So I don't know, James, is that maybe, I know you're working on the page and things like that, but maybe just think about your story and think about how powerful that might be for somebody else, right? It's like, this story is not just for you, right? It really is to inspire and encourage other people. So even your times here, right? You might be going through something. You might be going through something again, right? But it's just like, it's gonna be another thing that God brings you through. You know, it's not something that's gonna defeat you. So, but it's like, we have to get used to encouraging people through our own stories, you know, and that's through vulnerability. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta learn how to do that. I think that's powerful. I like how you have implemented this within this show, as far as us talking about, our mental health and where we are too, because other people are going to be listening. So they might be going through something, they're going to find encouragement to it. So yeah, maybe you might think about that, man. Just like, think about your personal story, man. And
I think that's
you'll be
one thing
encouraged.
I used to do back in the day, but it seemed like now I just kind of got away from it. Because I feel like, because, I do the podcast, General J's podcast, and I actually did 2 of them that I haven't released yet. And most of them are dealing with something. It's not necessarily positive. It has a positive ending, but it's always talking about something that I go through, something I'm struggling with, something I'm presently going through. And I got to be careful when you encourage me on that, because it may be for somebody. It may be that one person that listens to it that can change their life. So I'm actually being disobedient for not doing that. But I think you're so right that we all have a story, and that story needs to be told, and it has to be told in a way that's vulnerable, which I'm really big on vulnerability. I think it's important.
It is.
And with vulnerability, you got the risk of getting hurt and different things like that, but it's so necessary. Sorry, Eric.
No, I was going to say, like, one of the things that we have to always remember as well is that, like, every day is not going to be a good day. Like, I think that's what I always tell myself, and I give people the benefit of the doubt. So in education, I deal with high volumes of people all the time. And even if I'm in a store, or if I am out in public and somebody is disrespectful, or somebody has, said something that's off the wall or something like that, I give people the benefit of the doubt. I say, I'm not sure what they had going on, but I know the attitude is not towards me and anything I've done, because I haven't done anything. So I really do try hard, and I understand that every day is not going to be a great day for me, and I understand that. And so when the days are great, it's a bonus for me. When I don't have any negative interactions, or if everything's all clicking. But I also know, like, when you talk about vulnerability, it was a book that I read. It was called Dare to Lead by Brene Brown. Dare to Lead by Brene Brown. And it talked about your vulnerability in your leadership. And it talked about how you, like, clear is kind. That's what she kept saying. You got to be clear, you got to be kind. And one of the things I took from that, I took my own spin. You know how we do when we read books. We take our own spin sometimes. And I understand, like, and I've shared this with Tony quite often, the difference between friends and associates, right? So you probably have a slew of associates, people you associate with, Jim, the people you see in the gym, people you see at work, people you see in passing. I go to the favorite corner store, I get the same hoagie, the lady knows what I want, whatever. She's not my friend. She's somebody that I associate with, for something like that. A true friend, I should be able to speak freely about anything that's happened in my life. That's a true friend. And I should be able to drop my guard and be extremely vulnerable. And so it's important to have those people in your life, because that's why I talk about the no judgment. Because if I could talk to you, and I pick on Tony all the time about repeating himself, right? He will tell me something 15 times, and I will say, "You just told me that 15 times, but he knows something. Yeah, but you have to have those type of people where you could, if it's ailing you, it's toiling on you, it's going back and forth. You have to have those people in your circle, in your space, where I can say, you know what, this is still bothering me. I'm still having issues with this. I'm not sure what to do with this, and be able to say, I don't know what to do. You know, what can we do? You know, we can pray, we can fast with each other, we can work this out, we can start journaling, we can do those type of things. But I just think that today, with everything that's going on in this hate-filled society, this hate-filled world, a lot of people are in a nasty space. A space that's not too happy, and it can be for vulnerable things. It can be inflation. It can be, I just got fired. My wife just left me. My husband just left me. My partner just left me. It can be a host of things. But I just think that we have to be, you have to surround yourself with decent people. I think that's the solution. And it doesn't have to be a whole lot of people, but you got to have somebody you can connect with to say, I'm having issues. I can't do this anymore. I need to have somebody to be able to talk to without having the fear of judgment.
I think it's going to tie in a lot to our topic today. We're talking about relationships and dating and stuff like that. I got some things to say about that. But one of the things that I know in my dating thing, I've always said that you're seeing a healed James. Now, when I say a healed James, it doesn't mean that I'm completely healed, but it does say that I've done the work to work on me. Like I've done some of the work to get through some things, and I'm still a work in progress. But it's so important that we always be vulnerable enough to be honest about things that you're still working on, because if you're not, you're not going to grow. And when you talk about the friendship thing, I've learned, because I remember someone told me years ago, it's like, I said, I want to have 12 disciples, Jesus, 12 disciples, I need 12 close friends. It's like, that's a lot. And so at one point I feel like I had those, but every last, like it dwindled down. So I got like maybe 5 good friends, and you are 2 of them. And so it's like, I like quality over quantity any day. I've learned that you can have as many friends as you want, but half them friends don't. It's very surface level. Half them friends don't care. They just want to hang out. They want to do all this, but they don't want to really allow you to be vulnerable, allow you to be there for you, or to help you out. They don't want to do that part. And so it's so important that quality is so much important than quantity. And so I've learned that. So Eric, you're right. I mean, we talked about that. Like I have associates, friends, and then close friends. Associates, I have them all the time. Friends, people I may go out, hang out with, but it may more surface. And then close friends are the ones that I can open my heart and to be truly honest with. And so I thank God for that. But yeah.
Yes, sir.
Pretty good.
Absolutely.
All right, if we are good with that, we can go ahead and move on to our trending stories of the day. Yeah, I got some updated graphics, as you see. We got a little updated look as we continue to grow.
Okay, sounds like budget.
Oh, the budget's getting higher. That's right. You're in the budget, bro. But I will say this real quick, that our numbers have been going up each episode. So we had like almost 200 from when you got all of the 4 of us was here. And then last month we had about 300 views. And so I appreciate you guys for actually tuning in, whether it's a little while, for a little bit, or just the fact that you guys are watching. It brings all of us joy. I know it brings me joy. I know it brings you guys joy too. So we're gonna grow this thing, man. We're gonna continue to do this thing and grow. And I know people are gonna say, "Can we get more? Can we get more?" I had one person say, "I can't wait till next month. I really like your show." And I was very touched by that. You never know who's watching. I'm like, okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. So this is our part of the show where we talk about the trending stories. You want to get a male's perspective. We have the view. We have the ladies talking about the news of the day. Why can't we have men talk about the news of the day? They have a show called The Talk where they edit 2 guys, but they don't really talk about the trending stories. They talk about a lot of fluffy stuff now.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry they will be canceled at the end of this year.
Oh, really?
Sorry for that.
Cheryl Underwood, she's the OG. She's been up there long enough.
She's been up there long enough, and I really like her. I like the show. I don't know if I necessarily like the direction it has been now. It's more fluffy, but I will say for what they got, they did a pretty good job. And so I heard a soap opera is coming out, African-American soap opera, maybe taking its place. So I'll be checking that out. That's just me. I love drama shows and all that stuff, but that's just me. But anyway, let's get to some of the trending stories of the day. It's been a crazy news month for the month of April. And now we're in May, but I want to talk about some of those stories. One of the biggest stories, of course, is Trump. He's been all over the news, and also anti-Semitism. But one of the biggest stories that I've come across that was interesting, I don't know if you guys remember March 23rd, I believe, of last year, where they had that Nashville shooting at the school. Someone came in and they ended up killing 3 9-year-olds and 3 adults. And they actually they shot through the window to get the glass. They busted the glass or whatever. And so the big question is, what can we do? But I want you guys to take a look at this real quick, and we'll come back out of on the other end of it and talk about it some.
The decision to allow teachers to carry handguns on campus caused uproar at the Capitol.
Got shot by a gun in the classroom.
Once troopers escorted people out of the gallery, people continued to protest outside the House floor.
There's over 500 schools, public schools in the state of Tennessee that still do not have a school resource officer. This is just another tool that will allow some of those rural school districts to be able to qualify someone.
Through TBI, fingerprint, background check, at least 40 hours of training and more.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us. A crowd of people demanding change to gun laws swarmed the Tennessee state capitol today, urging lawmakers to act immediately in the wake of Monday's tragic school shooting in Nashville. The demonstration comes as police have released the 911 calls placed from inside the school, and they are chilling. You can hear the gunshots as a teacher pleads for cops to hurry.
They are the panicked 911 calls.
Active shooter, Covenant Presbyterian Church, shot the windows out to enter the school. You see broken glass. Is the suspect still there that you're aware of, sir? As far as we know, he's still there. We didn't go close to the place. Did you see the shooter? All I saw was a man holding an assault rifle shooting through the door.
You can hear the shock and panic in their voices as they describe the suspect, Audrey Hale, who identifies as transgender.
She had a vest on and a assault rifle. He was last seen in the second grade hallway? The second grade hallway is on the upstairs.
Listen.
Wow.
That's crazy.
So that was what happened last year. And the video you saw before, maybe I should do the reverse. The video you saw before is what happened this week. So Tennessee governor, he decided to pass bills to allow teachers to bring an armed weapon into the classrooms. And so that's their way of saying, this is what we're going to do to fix it. But the question is this the way to fix it? And another question is, should we trust the teachers?
Well, I can say I am a almost 20-year vet in education, and the schools have changed tremendously, and there's a lot more incidents of violence in schools than it has been before, than today, than previously times I'm talking about. So if the question is, should teachers have firearms in school? I'm just vehemently opposed to it. I don't think it is necessary. I do think that we do need to take more security precautions, unfortunately, because of where we are today. We talked about earlier in the top of the hour, just the trends of just some of the hate-filled conversations, you just think about it, like when you go into a store, like you can disagree with someone over something that's on aisle 5, and people are ready to, turn up, get upset, get in your face and all those type of things. And there's some people who are even afraid to honk their horns now in the car. If somebody's at a red light, the light turns green, So you got to just think about it, and in schools, the schools are designed to educate young people, to give them experiences, exposure experiences, to prepare them, equip them post high school for college, military, wherever they want to go from there. Teachers should not be concentrated and focusing on 40 hours of, mental health training, art, rifle range training, or whatever the training that's required for you to, possess a handheld weapon. And I just think that takes away, and it puts another set of burden on teachers, who are already overworked and underpaid in a lot of situations. But it also is teaching our young people that the solution to disagreements or the solution to hate is more hate and is more violence. And I think it's absolutely the wrong direction to be going in.
That's so good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really good. I'm agreeing with you. I think that these teachers, for me, I'm not saying I don't trust teachers, but I just don't know, like my child, like people, it's dangerous to have a gun in there. What if that weapon goes off by accident? What if something happens where a child gets in touch with that gun at the desk or somewhere they left it out or something? Like, I feel like it's so many different variables with that. And I just don't trust it at all. And I don't think the teachers need to go through all this training that they mentioned in the video. Like, I think it's a little bit too much. I just don't feel comfortable with that. And then now this bill is passed, so this is actually going to be happening. And I wonder if other states are going to follow suit. What's your thoughts, Damon?
It's crazy, right? It's like every time I turn around, there's an active shooting at a school, right? So it's crazy. It's a crazy thing to deal with. Now, I don't know if it's whoever. I don't know if that's the best thing to allow all teachers to be able to carry a firearm. I don't think that's the best idea. I think there might be more solutions. Now, I do think, Eric, I understand you, right? I get it. Like, teachers are very overwhelmed and underpaid, and it's a very stressful job. And to add something like that is ridiculous on top of what teachers already have to do. But at the same time, we got kids dying, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like every time I turn around, it's a school shooting. Like, it's like something's got to give. Now, I was just thinking about something like maybe there could be something to where, like, maybe, I don't know if it's because apparently there aren't enough armed guards. We don't have any armed guards at school to even provide protection. Maybe it's a budget thing. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah. And I think it's budget, but it's also your local school boards have to put forth that, and they also have to go to like different type of legislators. So it is. I think it's a twofold thing because it is expensive to have armed. Because most, especially in this area, most of our secondary schools, our middle school, high schools, they have SROs, so school resources, who are generally, like a Virginia Beach Police Department, police officer or Norfolk police officer. So they have those in middle school and high schools. Our elementary schools generally do not have the don't have the armed security or the armed resource officer. But if you notice, and I think you said it right, there is a lot of active shooters and active shootings happen in elementary schools.
They go right there, right?
Yeah.
Because they don't have anything to protect them,
Absolutely.
I was just thinking about, like when you get on a plane ride, right? Mm-hmm. And if you're sitting there, like the aisle where the emergency door is,
yes,
and then they'll ask you, right, if you volunteer to basically be the one to take care of that area over there.
Yes.
You ever been on a plane like that, right?
Sure.
Maybe there could be something like that in school to where maybe a teacher at some point, maybe like for a period of time, right? Like a teacher stand and watch. And then after another period of time, like another teacher somebody needs to be stay to watch or something, right? Like these kids need to be protected. But maybe it could be something where a teacher assumes that duty. And if they are doing that, then there's an understanding that some of their duties as a teacher, they're standing watch here, right? So they don't need to be overwhelmed with other duties that they typically are involved with, meaning like, being a teacher, things like that, and, curriculum and things like that, right? But it would just be a period of time to where somebody's assuming responsibility and then you pass it on. And then for whoever is assuming this responsibility, mental health check constantly, right? Because, school is stressful. So you got to make sure that these people are going through mental health checks or things like that and make sure they're going through the proper protocol to be suitable to stand watch. I think somebody needs to be standing watch.
You got it.
And maybe it can't, the budget can't come, we can't provide security guard because it's too expensive or what like that. But somebody needs to be there to protect these kids. I mean, because every time I turn around, it's a shooting.
Yeah.
It's at it's the most vulnerable places where we don't have anybody standing watch. So
I would agree.
Think it's a good idea to put guns in every teacher because I don't think everybody's rap tight. Not everybody is rap tight. And
that's what I'm saying.
But we need to evaluate who's able to do that, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I do agree with you. There should be some type of thought or planning going into school safety, school security. And I know it's a big thing for any, like I said, I'm a school principal. And so that's something you consistently think about all the time. You know, if somebody, you know, today in 2024, we do active shooter drills. We do lockdown drills. You do so many drills that when we were in elementary school, we had a fire drill. I mean, I think that was the most.
right, yeah.
That's true.
You know, duck and tuck, put your hands under the, you know, put your hand, you know, over your head and then put your head in your lap. But now there's so many other drills that you have to do that our children today are so normalized to. They're normalized to a lockdown or an active shooter drill when we didn't have that before, you know. So it is, I agree with you that there should be some type of conversation about what the staff schools, but I do agree with you. Also agree with you that you got to be careful about who you put weapon in the hand of today.
Yeah. I think maybe that analogy comes from I'm a veteran, right? So it's like whatever job you had on the ship, you had to stay and watch. Somebody had to stay in duty, right? So everybody on the ship is not armed, but somebody at some point in time, whatever shift that is, morning shift or, you know, midnight shift or afternoon shift, most of the ship had to go through defense training. All the ship, right? And somebody from whatever department that was, they had to stay and watch. So maybe that might be what I'm thinking of, but I just feel like somebody's got to be there to stay and watch. You know?
And I don't know if you know, I was in the Marine Corps, so we did the same thing. We called it fire watch. You know, you had
I heard of fire watch.
Yeah, while you were sleeping, you had somebody watching over the flock. But we could open up another show because there's a nationwide teacher shortage, and so you have that's a whole nother.
And I'm sure it's because of certain things like that, not feeling safe and not feeling
You cannot find teachers even young people majoring in education. There's so many schools with long-term substitutes. There's so many unstaffed subject areas and all that type of stuff. So do you think about, you have people who are not even trained to be an educator. Now you have people that are just subbing, people that have, it's just a host of things that you want to open up today. And it's a nationwide teacher shortage. It's not just in the Commonwealth of Virginia. So that's a whole nother shit.
That's a whole nother.
Maybe we need to start paying teachers more, right? Maybe we
Amen, brother.
Amen.
We need to start paying teachers more, man. It's more risky. It deserves a pay raise. We need to start paying these teachers more, you know? So.
Yep. Good conversation.
I definitely agree with that. We need to pay these teachers more because, as a matter of fact, the teachers are definitely pivotal. I mean, people become presidents, people become these big names and everything, but it all starts with a teacher, and they don't get the respect they need. 6 figures should be the start for them.
It should be at this point, right?
The start, you know. But okay, we can definitely talk about that a little bit more because it's so important. Maybe have a show on school safety and school as a whole. I think it'll be a really good talk about education in that aspect. I do know that you have a good program that you have at your school, Eric, that really helps the kids. Like it's just a good program that's not like a normal public school thing. It's a private school, but it allows people from all walks of life to get something different. And so I think that's important. We can talk about that another time. All right, so we're going from that. I'm going to move to anti-Semitism that's going on these college campuses. I know you've seen it last month where, it's this thing about the Palestinians, pro-Palestinian or whatever, anti-Israel, and people are scared. The Jews are scared on campus. They are scared because of the hatred that's been going on. Here's a little look at that. We're going to take a quick look at that, and we're going to talk about it on the other end of this.
The NYPD, some officers in riot gear descending on Columbia, arresting dozens of pro-Palestinian demonstrators. It comes after the university president was called before Congress to address accusations of anti-Semitism on campus.
Police, some in riot gear, moving in at the request of the university's president to clear demonstrators who set up a tent encampment, refusing to leave overnight, calling on Columbia to divest from companies with ties to Israel. Late today, demonstrators shutting down streets around the school.
What brought you out here? I was showing solidarity with the Palestinian community and with Columbia, and I think it's horrific what the Israeli army is doing to civilian populations in Gaza.
Wow. So what are your thoughts on anti-Semitism? I think one of the biggest things that I could take away from this is the fact that people are showing hatred. I believe that Israel's fighting. You got this over here, they're fighting. Everybody's fighting, but it all started with October 7th, and it all started with Hamas. If I'm saying that right, they attacked Israel, and now they're going back and forth. And so the thing is, there are some people that are casualties. There are people that are innocent in the matter on both ends. So why are we going against Israel when it should be both? Like, we just need to come together, have a ceasefire. We need to get this thing together and come to a solution. Maybe I'm wrong, but what's your thoughts?
And I've been watching the amount of protests that are happening on the college campuses. And today, and I always say it in 2024, like a college campus is completely different from even when we went to college, or when people back in the day went to college. Our students today, they're concerned over things that we weren't concerned about, like climate and climate control and food deserts and food scarcity, and wanting to be heard. And I think the First Amendment right is something that students today take it's a huge point for them. And I think our universities are set up in like this archaic times, or these old times where they want students to come and get an education and then leave. And it is not the case. Today, a lot of the students attending college and universities have more options, and they don't have to set foot on the college campus. So I think when I'm looking at the students that are protesting, one, I think the university officials, you have to make an opportunity or create a platform where young people can be heard. I can tell you one of the things that I do very heavily in my school is give students what we call student agency. And so they have voice and choice even in their education, and I have students in my program who they rate themselves. So the teachers rate themselves, the teachers rate the children, and then the children turn around and rate themselves, and they can have a conversation with the teacher if they don't like the grade that they received. That's different. That's even different from when we were in elementary school and middle school. So you're raising students who, like my students did not like some of the options that were on the cafeteria lunch menu. And so they asked me to call a meeting with the ladies that prepare the food. And so they had a session where they sat down and they picked apart the cafeteria menu.
Yeah.
These are 9 and 10-year-olds.
Yeah,
So
I like that.
The 9 and 10-year-olds that are under my leadership and under the teachers' leadership now, imagine when they get to college. You're not going to be able to tell them anything. You're not going to be able to just say, sit down and be quiet. They're not going to do that. They're going to ask questions. They're going to have demands. They're going to want to be heard. And so I think the colleges and universities today are doing a poor job of providing a platform for our young people to talk and have discussions. I think it is one of those, I speak, you listen, but in 2024, it does not operate that way. So if you have Jewish students that are on a campus and they're saying, I feel unsafe because I don't like what's going on, because you have to create this platform. So right now, I know Columbia University, one of their big things is that they're trying to get the students off of that grass so they can have graduation. That's their priority. And that's what it shows on the news. I need these students off because graduation is coming up. Instead of saying these are students who are paying, or they're here on scholarship, or the parents are paying a tuition, and we have not provided a platform for them to be heard. So I think they just need to have a platform for them to be heard. It may not be the solution that they like, but they're gonna feel valued because they're gonna know that somebody from that school's administration has sat down and actually cared about what they have going on. So
I absolutely love that perspective, man. I never thought of it like that. I think it is so important that we listen and hear people and actually do something about it. I didn't know about the graduation is one of them off the grass type thing. That's not the way to do it.
That's what they talked about. Yeah. May 5th graduation, or either May 6th. I can't remember.
Wow. All right. Well, with that said, we're gonna move on to our third story. I laugh because we can talk about Trump all the time. Trump stays in the news. I mean, I've never seen it where he's been out of office almost 4 years, and he's been in the news almost every.
That joke is so popular.
Day. He is popular. Yeah. So he got some of his lawyers in the Supreme Court trying to talk about immunity. Could he do that in his office? Like he can, basically say that I'm free from it. I didn't do it. I'm not going to charge myself. I release myself.
He wants blanket immunity.
Blanket. Everything.
Yeah,
And that's kind of dangerous. Yeah. Like you could murder somebody
and not be charged.
Can't be charged as a president. And so that's going through the Supreme Court right now. And they're going to make a ruling, if not now, because by the time this airs, it may happen in May, but usually it happens around June when they give their answers to what their ruling rather.
And just a little plug, you've never listened to the Supreme Court's oral arguments. Like it is amazing. It is amazing. You can see the questions, because that's one thing that I've learned, is that the Supreme Court, the body of the Supreme Court, is not a lawmaking body. You know, they interpret and issue. I can't remember what it's called. Good gracious, it just escaped my brain. But they issue
the word. I can't think of the word.
I lose it too, but I can't. Something that they issue based on the law. So they determine, they either, they talk about it a little bit, or they send it back down to the lower courts to make a decision. But they don't rule and make laws and that type of thing. And so it's just an amazing thing to hear. I listened to some of the oral arguments from both sides. We consider both sides of the court because of who appointed them to the bench and that type of thing. But it's just nonsense to say I got blanket immunity. Like I can,
It's dangerous, bro.
I can order the military to go in to take over this small nation and murder people, and I have immunity. Like, But I'm telling you, hear Trump's attorneys arguing, saying, "Yeah, that's right. Yeah, absolutely. If he does that, absolutely, no one will become president if they don't have blanket immunity."
I'm scared.
That's crazy.
Mind blowing. People think that that's accurate. It's mind blowing.
Oh my goodness, man. Yeah. I mean, now he's on trial. The trial could be over by the time you see this, but from when we're gathering, from what we have started on where we're recording today, I should say, last week's trial was an interesting thing. They had the National Enquirer's he used to be co-owner or something like that. He used to be like an editor in charge or whatever, and he worked closely with Trump. And so this is let me just show you a little bit of what happened during that time, and we'll be right back.
Tonight, the prosecution closing out the first week of testimony by offering the jury a peek inside the inner workings of the Trump Organization from one of the people who knows the former president best. The state briefly calling Rona Graff, Mr. Trump's longtime executive assistant, to the stand this afternoon. Graff confirming contacts were saved on the company's computer system for Karen McDougal and Stormy. Prosecutors say both women were shopping stories of sex with Mr. Trump ahead of the 2016 election, encounters he denies. At the heart of the case, a $130,000 payment Michael Cohen made to Daniels so she wouldn't go public, and how prosecutors say that payment was disguised.
So, okay, let me just Okay, so he's going to trial, but I was trying to figure out, like, well, did he do anything wrong? Because technically, he didn't do anything wrong by giving people hush money. Like, that's not illegal from what I gather. I think the point they're trying to make is, they said that the memo, the checks were written out to, the memo was like, it wasn't towards her. It was something dealing with the election or something. Attorney's fees.
Yes.
And so they're saying that it was fraud by doing that because
it
wasn't transparent. You're giving these 130,000 checks to Stormy Daniels as hush money. Yeah, and so that's the biggest thing that they're fighting for. That's the biggest thing, because at the end of the day, he can do the little hush hush thing. It's sad but true. He can like hush hush. I'll give you 100,000. Be quiet. I don't want my wife to know, all that kind of stuff. And so, in my opinion, he's probably done these things. He's getting the hush money. And then the lady was saying about another lady. And so this is before the 2016 election. He was trying to get the votes. And so I'm sure he's not the only one that gave some people some hush money out of all this politics that we had over the years. There's no way. It's like a big soap opera. So he's just the one that they're targeting right now. That's just my opinion. But yeah, that's just, it's interesting. It is definitely interesting. Anybody want to say anything about that? Y'all have nothing to say about that?
Just a whole lot to say about that. We can talk about we can talk about the hush money. We can talk about it's like immunity thing.
Yeah.
Nobody should have immunity to anything.
Okay.
Right? Because it's like, especially leaders, right? And I think that's a measure of just keeping anybody like from doing anything, from abusing power or anything like that. There has to be a measure of accountability, and especially when it comes to leaders, right? So nobody should be able to do anything and have immunity and just totally do away with accountability. I think that's crazy. I think that's crazy. So
I would agree.
It is absolutely crazy.
That's
All right,
we
well,
keep
we're
our
gonna
leaders in check. So yeah.
Something else. It's interesting to see how this turns.
I can do anything.
It'll be interesting to see how everything turns out with the immunity thing, and then the hush money trial, and then more trials. He got to go to Georgia and Florida for another trial.
And guess what? His popularity
is going up. Because he's campaigning while he's doing this by talking every time he gets out there. This is a witch hunt. This is this and that. And so he is really, I believe that he could be our president again, for real.
Oh, he's in the running. He's in the running, brother.
Yep. All right, well, let's go on to our focus topic for today. We are talking about relationships. I'm a single man. You guys are not single, but maybe you'll give me some advice. I don't know, but I want to know, how do you guys approach dating? Well, let's just put it in perspective that before you were in relationships, how did you approach dating and being in a romantic relationship with someone?
I can tell you just simple. I think it's the most simplistic thing for me that I think the always called the elders have always told me is that anybody you decide to spend your life with or share, I always say share space or share air with, that you breathe air with every single day. I think that person has to compliment you. I think it also, you have to have this foundation of trust and understanding and being able to, compromise. You have two individuals essentially that are the born individual, but they're, through a relationship, they're being brought together. So it is a host of things, and there's always a spiritual understanding too. Like I could never be with somebody who doesn't believe in God. Like I don't think I could ever be with anybody who doesn't believe in God or higher calling, who doesn't believe in daily prayer. Like I pray, being able to pray with that person daily, but also just someone who compliments you. If you don't have somebody that's in your corner that's willing to support you, understand you, push you, understand, some of the bad days, the good days, those type of things, then I don't think you need to share a space with them. That's just me.
Do you think it's important? Do we take breaks during dating?
He's already asked me this question off camera. He knows that I really get in. I get a little emotional.
Well, I want people to hear it though. We want to hear your perspective on it. I want to hear what you got to say about it. I'm a little.
Damien, I'm sorry, man. If I call you cute, my fault, Damien. Sorry, I'll let Damien talk.
I'm gonna get back to you, Eric.
Okay, so why would you? What's the purpose of taking the break? Like, what is it for? So I think the question depends on that. What's the need for, if you're in the stage of building in a relationship, why are we putting the building and the communication, and relationships are like gardens that need to be tended to, right? So why are we putting a break on that? What's the purpose of it? I think you got to start there, whatever that is. It could be like, as a person, you in a relationship and the person got called overseas for duty or something like that, or like what? Or did you see something
legit?
Whoever's posing the why is this a solution? And did somebody see something that calls for a break? And if you saw something that maybe you don't, you know what I'm saying? This is like, that is you got to question. It's the why.
Yeah.
The why is very important here. And I feel like the need for a break during the dating phase is, you're not even married yet, right? So it's like, why are we getting to a break already? What have we seen already?
Is that a red flag? Is that a red flag?
Look, we ain't even put in the work yet, bro. And we were trying to take a break.
Work yet, right? We just got the tools for the guard. Like we got the seeds for the guard. We got the dirt. We ain't even started. We ain't even started yet. So what's going on?
This is what I told Tony. He said, is it okay to take a break in a relationship? I said, for how long? A lunch break, 30 minutes, an hour? What do you mean? Like, I don't understand. I don't get it.
He was passionate about it.
Again, like, I'm like, so if somebody says, oh, we need to take a break, and my next question would say, how long? For what reason?
I asked that question because there's some people that say that you should take a break, and then there's some people that say they shouldn't. So I've asked other people, and that's what I've got.
I don't understand it because the thing about it is, like, and I agree with Damon, like, if you're in the process of dating someone, this is where you get the foundation of your communication. This is where you get the foundation of your understanding. This is where you say, I really don't know this about that person, but let me have a conversation with them. Let me have a dialogue with them. It's not like I throw a tantrum and say, we need to take a break. Okay, who decides who comes back from the break?
Right.
Yeah. Is it paid or is it unpaid? Like, I mean,
that's getting deep.
Remember that thing we were talking about shit, but what the old folks said, right, Eric? You gotta, about sharing air, right? So whoever has decided to take a break, like, I don't want to share the same air with you right now, right?
Ooh, this is good.
So,
we put this on the calendar.
And it's good that you said it because the more I hear about it, I agree with you guys on that. At this point,
it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't it doesn't make sense to me.
And I think it's also setting a precedent for if you decide to go further. So, like, okay, how many breaks do you have in this career span, like, or this relationship span? Are we take a break every time we disagree?
Right.
I saw something on Facebook one day. It says, if I don't call you or talk to you every day, then we don't need to be dating. Because if you can't text me or say hello or whatever, then it must be somebody else. And I actually believe that's like, you should at least say hi or something if you're building something.
The taking a break is a cop-out and is an easy way out. And like I said, I think it is setting some uncharted ground that you do not want to go onto. Like if I say every time we disagree or every time it gets too hot and heavy, I want to take a break, that means it's going to be unlimited. It's going to be the black, the Amex card. It's unlimited. We're going to be taking breaks forever. And then when you take breaks, what are the terms and conditions? That's what I want to know. What's the term and conditions for the break? Are you walking with your eyes closed? Are you open to other people? Are you on a get out of jail free card? Like, I don't understand that. Like, I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
James, you said something that stuck out to me, right? You were saying it made me think about, I don't know if you guys you heard about the 4 languages, right?
The love languages.
Love languages.
The 5 languages, 5 of them.
The 5 love languages, right? So James, the one you said was the way you show love is it's through gifts. Through gift giving, right?
Giving and just
and you said, like, okay, some people may take that to be too much, but maybe we're not understanding people's love languages, right? You know what I'm saying? So maybe it is just the way that we love. It's like, mine is like this, right? Mine is communication. It's through what's the other one called?
Words of affirmation.
Words of affirmation is one of mine.
Right, words of affirmation, right?
Touch.
Yeah, all those things, right?
I got all 5 of them, Jakes. I like them all.
Right, yeah. But it's just something that you lean towards more. So my wife's hers is acts of service, right? So I know that sometimes I might try to love her through words of affirmation, and that's not really the way that she receives love. That's the way that I receive love. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Now the way she receives love is through acts of service.
Because sometimes when you get to know somebody, you don't really know. And so when you learn, you can adjust. And instead of just cutting someone off, it doesn't.
And that might be, and sometimes we say, right? Sometimes people's rejection is God's protection, right?
Thank you, Lord.
So maybe the fact that they did cut it off is maybe for our good, right? Because it is, like Eric said, why are we taking a break, right? If you've determined that this person's way of loving is too much, then it's like, why you keeping this person right here to put them on the shelf to just come back? But you've already decided that this is too much. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So I don't think it's fair to keep the other person on the shelf when you have already decided the way that they are loving you is not the way you want to be loved, or maybe it's too much, or you're misunderstanding, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like you either cut your losses or not. To me, it's not. I think that's a bit selfish. So it's like you thinking about how you're going to benefit. Maybe you don't want to do it right now, but I might be able to have the capacity later. But you got a whole other person on this side with a whole heart and feelings, right? Yeah. So I think it's inconsiderate of the other person if it's like, oh, if you feel like that person is not for you, because everybody's not for everybody. That, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But make the decision. You have to decide if that person is for you or not. Because go on your way and find somebody else. Don't leave that person on the shelf.
I don't have anything else to say. I think Damien hit that thing where he said, "Don't leave them on the shelf. I'm not there for your convenience."
I like the old times when you get to what they said the word court. You know, you really get to know a person. You spend time together. You talk. You have those meaningful conversations. You get to know each other more. And if you have disagreements or things that, like you said, we have different love languages, we talk about them and we adjust. We don't cut off unless you really feel that you want to cut them off. Don't lead them on. And
right,
so I think that's so important. Such a good topic that we can talk more about. I want to ask this question real quick. What are some red flags in dating?
The one we just talked about?
Other than that, what are some other red flags?
Need to take a break.
Okay, that's a good red flag.
My blood pressure then went up. Like, I don't get that. I'll tell you, when Tony, look, David, when Tony said something about that, I went berserk. I was like, I would say the communication, I think, is the foundation for a perfect relationship. Well, a growing relationship, a great relationship, and I think it always goes back to communication. Whether I'm communicating that I have this to do and I can't spend time with you, or I need to focus on work a little bit more and not focus on you, or even when you're in a heavy relationship or you're dating or you're married or whatever, and I have these things to do and I'm not able. I think communication is the root. So when communication goes awry and then you have somebody who's not willing to work on communication or communicating effectively, I think it's a super huge red flag. And I don't think that gets better if you don't want somebody committing to doing it, committing to the relationship.
I think it's so true. I agree with you.
That's something I have learned too. Like this is on the red flag topic, right? And I've just learned myself. I in the past I have had a tendency to rush things, right? And so automatically, like when you're going too fast, you're not able to see the red flags, right? Because you might be coming from an authentic place, but everybody's not like that. You got people talking about how they're gonna use other people for their benefit, and I've heard people talk like this, like they think about using other people for what they can get out of them, right? And it's like when you go on dates, everybody's putting their best foot forward. We can start a whole nother show on like relationships.
We're gonna have to talk about another time.
We're gonna plug that idea, right? Yeah, but everybody's selling themselves. They're putting their best foot forward, right? So it's like you have to give, but it's a difference between like being authentic or being fake because you're trying to like do things for your benefit. You know what I'm saying? So I think it takes time to be able to see if a person is authentic. And one thing I tell people too is like, okay, you gotta watch that person, because when that person is, even if that person is authentic and the flaws are right there, if you're infatuated with that person, you're not gonna see it. You're not gonna see it. It's gonna be right in your face. Now, when it's all said and done, hindsight 2020, you're gonna be like, oh man. But for some reason, we have the blinders on, right? So you have to see how people are in other contexts. With you detached, right? Is that person a good friend? How good of a friend is that person? Or brother or sister or whatever? And whatever is being presented to you, is that consistent within these other contexts with what you're seeing? That's how you see that. And that takes time.
It does.
That takes time to be able to see that. That's something that I have learned, right? It's like, okay, we talk about the spiritual aspect, right? You need to be equally yoked too. But just because that person Christian don't mean that they're for you.
Let's be clear.
Right? Just because they say, right, y'all might go to church, right?
There's bad people everywhere, brother.
It's bad people everywhere. You see what I'm saying? So you need to be like, you need to have wisdom, because we're talking about sharing the same air with people, right? So that's one of the most important decisions that you can make. So you have to learn to be cautious, but sometimes the heart wants to rush in things. And I have done that myself. I've learned that, I have to take time. But yeah, just you got to watch people in different contexts.
I've been guilty of that too.
How consistent that is.
I think things that's happened over the last few, the last few times, I think I'm coming to realize that, you definitely got to take your time as much as possible. Because I can try to go a little faster and not even realize it. Because what you see is what you get. I'm authentic. I'm me from the beginning. It's just what it is. And y'all know I'm a good person. Y'all know me for a long time. Excuse me?
No comment.
You better be quiet. But y'all know I'm good people. I've known y'all a good 15, 20 years. Like I have y'all know that I am. So yeah, we can talk about that. I think we may have a part 2 on that. Actually, I feel like we need to.
You should have a whole segment. You can have a whole another show on relationship topics. Yeah. So.
Ooh, we gonna do it too. You know how I can't wait. We're gonna go ahead and end the show for tonight, though. We run out of time. We try to keep it at an hour, so we're a little 15 minutes over. That's okay. You know,
amazing conversations, dope conversations, good topics. Yeah,
I love this show, and I just want us to continue to grow. Anybody want to say anything before we leave to the people?
Well, we just appreciate you all watching, listening out there. Sometimes listening to on your radio, and I know it's things that people are going through, but just stay encouraged. I think what we talked about in the top hour, it was very important. Just keep that inner circle of some people that you really can talk to, judgment free, those type of things, because there's a lot going on today. It's a lot going on in the world today. And we all on this call go through ebbs and flows, but no, just stay encouraged and keep yourself, surrounded with some decent people.
Yeah. Okay, I guess that's it. You said it all. So we're going to go ahead and end it there. But thank you guys for watching today. Be sure to join us again for another edition of Locked In Show. And hopefully Q will be back next time. We missed you, Q.
Q, we represent you, big brother.
Yeah, love you guys.
Down for you.
Love you guys, and I'll see you again next time.
Take care.